And we're back. Last two things we need to talk about in this chapter: ethics, and then how all of this is useful to you right now. Now, first of all, we use research ethics for some very good reasons. By participating in a research study, you do not in any way give up your rights. The American Psychological and Psychiatric Association have very strict guidelines on ethical research. Researchers must gain informed consent. You cannot do research on someone without their knowledge. Researchers must maintain confidentiality. They cannot release your name or your personal information to the public. The participant must be fully debriefed on all aspects of the study at its conclusion. But researchers can deceive their participants. Now, that may seem odd, but it is actually very necessary, and as we explained with placebo pills. So this is a form of deception. In some cases, you don't want your participants to know what you're studying because it might change their behavior, resulting in participant bias. This is fine, but the researcher must then debrief the participants after the experiment and explain why they were deceived. Today, most, if not all, research is approved and governed by institutional review boards. IRBs approve new research projects and monitor them to ensure that they are conducted ethically. We should also address the question of animal research and should it be used in psychology. So the answer to this question revolves around usefulness. Animal research is used. It makes up about 5% of all psychological research, and it mostly involves rats and mice. There are standards of care that have to be met, and in cases where the animals are subjected to harm, it must first be proven that the results are potentially beneficial to humans and that no other method would have been as effective. So why is all of this good for you to know right now? I mean, you're not going to be doing actual research anytime soon. Well, for one thing, you can avoid overgeneralizations. You see a headline that says, "Scientists find a cure for migraines." Well, you know to read the fine print. Maybe it's not a cure. Maybe it only reduces symptoms and only in some people. Another headline reads, "High school students aren't getting enough sleep." Well, okay, that may be largely true, but it might not be true for you, and certainly isn't true for all high school students. Here's a very current one. There is a relationship between the number of COVID-19 tests administered and the number of positive cases. Obviously, as you test more people, you will discover more positive cases. But it would be ridiculous to claim that it is the test that is causing the positive case. Right? If you don't test anyone, you will not discover any positive cases. But they're still out there. You just don't know who has it and who doesn't. Right? And always look for converging evidence, meaning that if one study alone, or if you just see one study, it doesn't really prove much. Right? It doesn't a theory make. If several institutions independently come to the same conclusion, then the theory is stronger. Now, if they come to the same conclusion using different methods, even better. And then always consider the source. If the person making the claim is trying to sell you something, always be very cautious. Okay, that's the end of our chapter on research methods and statistics in psychology. Keep in mind that this is an introductory level course, and therefore this was a very brief overview. As always, check the course website for upcoming assignments and assessments.